Hi and welcome. You're in the garden with Patrick. Today, what we're going to talk about is the difference between true leaves and first leaf. And also, I'm going to show you how to transplant some of these seedlings. As you can tell, we have different types of plants, that seeds that we planted with different plants, of course. And you're going to see the different germination of each of these seeds. And even within some of these same seeds, you can see, for example, this cilantro that we planted about 8 days ago. This seeds in this particular pod is germinating quite a bit. And then in this one, you see there's no germination at all. So what happens is you're going to see, a difference in the amount of germination time. So we're 8 days, and remember, some plants, it'll say on the seed packets 6 to or 7 to 10 days, depending on the seeds on when they germinate. I had these cucumber plants, they started germinating, and zucchini plants started 4 days after I planted them. So, and what I really love how nature is, and you can see here, this is the seed that was actually planted in the ground and how that just comes up. And then here's another one, and this is one of my cucumbers, and you can see here just how amazing. So it's got the seed right here, okay, and it's got it on the top there, and the seed or the plant is kind of holding up the seed saying, hey, here's the seed. We made it out of the earth. So what you're going to see here, I want to show you a couple of things. So we're going to transplant a couple of these because the main reason is as these are getting bigger, they're going to be overcrowding, and there's going to be two strategies that we can do. And I'm going to talk about those in just a second. But I do want to show you the difference here between a true leaf and a first leaf. So when you see a true leaf, that's the sure sign that it is time to transplant from your seed starting mix here. And the main reason is this is how we tell the difference. So this here is the first leaf. So you can see that with when the leaves start to come out. So for example, here in my cilantro plant here, you can see here, this is the first leaf. And in there, in that center part, okay, is where you're going to start seeing that true leaf that's going to come out. But until that true leaf comes out, you're not going to want to do anything. What I've read and heard is that the first leaf, which is this here, does not produce any photosynthesis. So it lives pretty much off of the seed, the nutrition that's in the seed. Once all the nutrition from that seed is gone, then your plant produces and starts the true leaf, which is this here. Okay, so once you see these here, that is the time, and you can see how that pretty much looks like a zucchini leaf right there. So that is the time that we're going to start transplanting. Now, there's several strategies. I try to maximize as best as possible everything that So what I'm going to show you here is what I do is try to keep all of the plants, and we kind of separate them and put them into separate pots. So that's what these pots are going to be doing here. I'm going to transplant these zucchini plants, and we'll move on to other plants here in just a minute. The other strategy is that you can just eliminate the other plants that are in there. So for example, this is my bok choy, and I've got 4 plants in that little pod there. We can look at the best plant, and we can just snip, and I'm going to show you how I do this. I don't typically like to do this, but I'm going to show you just for this video. And this is what you would do. You just kind of go in there, and you would just snip the worst plant, okay? And then you would just be left with one plant in each of those pods there. So Again, I don't like to do that personally because if there's 3 healthy plants there, I can separate those and I can make 3 separate plants from there. So again, you can see here 4, there's plenty of them here. So the bok choy is doing very, very well. My basil, as of right now, I have 2 plants here. And again, you can see the difference with the germination. So there's not very much germination going on, but those 2 popped out. So all the rest of my, and there's 1 more basil plant there. So out of the 6 there, I've got a whole 3 plants. So, and again, even on the bok choy, you can see the difference in the germination here. So, and some of that will be variety, but again, some of these are same variety. So for example, as we were talking about here, my poblanos, okay, that we planted right here, I've got the first one, there's nothing going on. Second one, there's nothing going on. There's 1 plant coming out. There's another plant coming out. And remember, I put in 3 to 4 seeds per little pod there. So you're gonna see there's gonna be a big difference in the germination of the seeds, and where I put 3 or 4, only 1 germinated and came out. So that's another fun, interesting thing about nature and why I love things the way they are. So we're going to go ahead and I'm going to pull out these zucchinis so we can plant some other stuff in there too, but also that way we can transplant them into a little bit larger pot, and we'll start giving them some fertilizer. So in previous videos, I've talked about how you want to sterilize your seed starting mix, and we've already done that with this seed starting mix here. And what I'm going to show you is now we're going to transplant some plants into these pots, and these have a different soil mix in. Instead of the seed starting mix, we actually have potting soil. So there's, again, 2 ways. You can put it in a separate container and sterilize the entire portion. And then what I'm going to do today is show you a different way. And what you can do is, again, you can get one of these aluminum pans, that you cook with or whatever. And again, all of this stuff is either recycled that I've had, or what I try to do is to repurpose things. So again, I've purchased things from before, from the big box stores, and had plants in there, and now I'm gonna start doing this myself. You can also get these, a lot of times they'll just give those to you. So save all of your pots. If you do wanna buy them and you don't wanna do the seed starting, just save those, and you can transplant things, okay? So what you're gonna do is I'm gonna take this boiling water, and again, remember I have the container down here. It's going to keep all the water, and you're going to just go ahead and pour that boiling water into your potting soil mix. Now, again, you're going to wait till everything cools before you actually plant. The boiling water helps kill off any of the fungus gnats that are in the soil, or any other mold or diseased things that are in your pots. Now, again, you can, if you want, sanitize your pots and go through all of that. This is a real simple and easy method to do it one time. So you pour all that in there, let that, of course, cool down. You don't want to be planting your plant in a nice boiling temperature of and you can see the steam coming off of it. So you just let that cool down, and then it's going to be time for you to transplant your plants into those pots. All right, so here comes the fun part. What we're going to do is we're going to take these 3 zucchini plants. They're the Black Beauty, and I'm going to first loosen up a little bit from the bottom, so it'll pull out a little bit easier. Okay, and that's all I'm just doing is loosening that part up. And we're gonna pull these 3 plants, and look how that comes out. So you can see, look at that beautiful root system, how already it's starting to become root bound. And part of that reason is because there's 3 plants in here, but you can see really nice, healthy roots that are coming out, okay? And so we're going to take that and we're going to transplant those. Okay, so we have here our zucchini that we planted 8 days ago. And we have 3 seeds that sprouted, and you can see right there's one of them. And we're going to transplant that into 3 separate pots here. So what you're going to do is very, very gently, okay? A lot of times, if you just let things just kind of gently come apart, they will just allow themselves to kind of, so don't worry about if you're feeling like you're cutting some of these roots. It's quite all right. You can still do that. And you may not 100% be able to keep all of your zucchini plants, but again, if you just gently pull them apart, and as you can tell, you can see here, I got enough of these plants. You just kind of tease them away. Don't be intimidated by this. This is actually kind of fun, and you learn a lot that way. So I just kind of tease that. So now I have 3 separate plants, and again, you can see here, there's one of the seeds that sprouted, okay? Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna kind of take that, we're gonna put a hole in the seed potting mix, and all I'm gonna do is just drop that down in there. Really simple, okay? So we're gonna take that, we're gonna put that gently back into the pot, and firmly push that down, and now we have a zucchini plant that is ready to go. So we're going to do that same thing here. I'm going to put a nice little hole here. We're going to take our zucchini plant, try to keep as many of those roots as we can, and we're just going to pop that down in there. Again, you want to be as gentle as you can, but again, you don't have to be super, super gentle with it. And now we have our second one, and then we'll have our third one, same thing. So this is just regular potting mix that I have that we put in there, and again, sterilize it. And look at the root system on this, beauty, okay? So we're gonna just pop that down in there. And so from one seed starting pod, we now have 3 zucchini plants. So you want to make sure that you duplicate this, and you are making sure that you are labeling all of your plants. I'll make a couple more for these. Now these plants are ready to start growing with fertilizer, and we'll talk about what we're going to use as a fertilizer in a different video, but that's how you take your plants and you move them into a bigger pot. It's called up potting, and I'll show you again how we're going to do this with other plants, but again, the other ones are not obviously ready yet until we have that true leaf come out. So you'll see that in the other videos that we're going to do, and there'll be a quiz later on what a true leaf and a first leaf is, and when that and why that is important. Okay, so I just wanted to show you one last thing. Is this plant, I'm pulling it out only because this one's already got a true leaf ready to go, and these two aren't quite ready yet. You can see this one has got a little tiny bit coming in, and this one doesn't have really much at all. But I feel like I want to just move on from the zucchini plants, and so I'm pulling both of these out. This one is same thing. This has got a true leaf here. This one is not yet ready. So again, the two strategies are I could clip this one that's not ready and allow this one to just grow the way it is, or I can try to separate these two and let them grow on their own and have separate plants. And that's what I'm going to go ahead and try to do. But again, look at the beautiful root systems that these have, and they've done really well. So they're ready to go. So I'm going to plant 3, 4, 5 more zucchini plants. So once again, you can see how I'm just kind of teasing the root systems out. And if you can be delicate with them, that's great. If you cut a few, that's not a big deal. And I think we're good with that. And you can see how they kind of roll, they circulate around the whole entire planting surface there. So I'm just pulling those, teasing that out a little bit, and we're going to go ahead and separate these again into 3 separate plants. So just kind of gently allowing that to come out. And there you go. So see how the difference is on this has got not as much root system, and I didn't break any of those. These actually are coming out pretty nicely, and same thing with this one. These two, the bigger plants, they both have really nice root systems, so these should do pretty well. So there you have it. I planted 3 cells with zucchini seeds, and I have gotten 2, 4, 6, 8 plants out of those 3 cells. So that's how you can maximize, and for the most part these should do really well, and we'll follow these along as we go. Please subscribe to my channel, and if you have a comment or you would like to add any questions, please put that in the comments below. And thanks again for watching In the Garden with Patrick.